captured but not defeated battlefield was silent. Smoke rose from burning machines and broken ships. The war between humans and aliens had ended. But the ground still smelled like fire and blood. From under a pile of metal and dust, something moved. It was him. Kara AK. An alien warrior, strong and proud, now covered in wounds and dust. His armor was cracked, one of his arms was broken, but he was alive. Karak pushed the metal off his body and crawled out. His eyes were tired, but his will was not broken. He looked around. His army was gone. All his brothers were dead. His world silent. He stood slowly, feeling pain in every step. The war was lost. He knew it. But he also knew one thing. He had to survive. For them, for his children. Suddenly, a human drone flew over him. Karak looked up and didn't move. Within minutes, human soldiers arrived, their guns pointed at him, red lights locked on his chest. "Don't move," a soldier shouted. Karak did not move. He looked at them, calm like a warrior. Captain Elias, a tall man with a sharp face, walked forward. He looked at the alien with cold eyes. "You're the last one," Elias said. Karak took a slow breath. He could fight, maybe even kill one or two of them before dying, but he didn't. He dropped to his knees. He raised his arms. The soldiers were shocked. A warrior like him surrendering? Karak spoke in deep, clear voice. "I will serve you, human, if you promise my children won't starve." Silence. Even the wind stopped. Elias looked at him, confused. "What did you say?" "I will serve." Karak repeated, his voice calm but full of pain. "My war is over. I lost. But my children are still out there, hiding, hungry. Promise me they will live. And I will be your weapon." The soldiers didn't know what to say. Was this a trick, a trap? Elias didn't answer. He looked at the alien's eyes. There was no hate, no lies, only one thing, a father's fear. He gave the order, "Take him in." Karak was chained and taken to the ship, but he walked with pride. Like a soldier, not a slave. As the ship flew away, something watched from the shadows of the broken hills. A small black drone, silent and hidden, sent a message back to somewhere far, far away. He is alive, and he has chosen peace. Activate Plan Sigma. Inside the human ship, Karak sat alone in a metal room, cold walls, bright lights. No sounds except the hum of machines. Captain Elias entered. He placed a small screen in front of Karak. "This is your planet, right?" Karak nodded. "We scanned the surface, almost nothing left, but we found a small bunker hidden." Karak leaned forward, eyes wide. "Children," he whispered. Elias didn't answer. "We're not sure, but maybe." Karak's hands shook, just for a second, then he became still again. "I keep my word," Elias said. "But if you lie to me, if this is some game, I will not protect them." "I understand," Karak said. "I don't lie. My kind, we never lie about family." Elias stared at him for a moment, then left the room. Meanwhile, in the shadows, far away, in a hidden space station, a figure stood in front of a dark screen. The face was not human, not alien, something in between, part machine, part mind. The voice spoke in a whisper. "He surrenders, he serves the humans. How weak, how foolish." A button was pressed. "Send the signal, make sure he never speaks again." Back in the ship, Karak looked at the wall. He remembered his children's faces, small eyes, soft voices. He remembered their last words before he left for war. "Come back, father, we'll wait for you." Now, he was in enemy hands, but he had made a promise. He would not die. Not yet. His story was not over. Deal with the devil. The cold air inside the human battleship hummed with silence. Karak sat on the metal floor of the prison cell, his wrists still chained. His body was healing, but the pain in his chest stayed. Not from the wounds of war, but from the fear that his children might already be dead. He closed his eyes and remembered their last hug, a small hand, a quiet voice. "Come back soon. Father, we'll be brave." But this ship, this steel prison, was far from home. And the humans were still watching him like he was a wild beast. Captain Elias watched from the other side of the glass. The alien hadn't tried to escape. He hadn't fought. He sat there, calm, quiet, like he was waiting. "You really think he means it?" a young soldier asked. Elias didn't answer. Instead, he turned to the ship's AI system. "Run another scan. Check the alien's vitals. Truth. Check his statements again." "Confirmed," the AI replied. "No signs of deception detected. Emotional levels, high concern. Focused stress. Analysis suggests truth." Elias exhaled. He had seen prisoners lie. He had seen aliens scream and fight to their last breath. But this one, Karak, was different. He acted like a man who had already lost everything except hope. Hours later, Elias walked into the cell. Karak stood as soon as he entered. "You kept me alive." Karak said, "Does that mean you believe me?" "I believe in results." Elias replied coldly, "And your story is interesting." He placed a small holo device on the table. A flickering image appeared, an old bunker on a dead moon. "Our scout ships found this," Elias said. Low energy signals and signs of life. We don't know who or what. Karok's eyes sharpened. That's their hiding place. I sent them there before the last battle. Elias didn't blink. Then prove your loyalty. The mission. Karok was given a trial. A simple engineering task, fix a broken section of the ship's outer defense system. They watched him closely, tracked every movement, but Karok didn't run. He worked, his alien hands moved with precision. His strength helped carry heavy cores that took 3 humans to lift. He finished in 30 minutes what the crew expected in 3 hours. The humans whispered among themselves. Maybe he really is helping us. But not everyone trusted him. Corporal Juno hated him. Her brother had died in the war. She stared at Karok like she wanted to pull the trigger every time she saw him. Why are we letting that thing walk around? She growled to Elias. It's a trick. They're killers. Elias replied simply, he hasn't lied once, and we're watching. But danger was closer than they thought, inside the ship's cargo bay. A strange signal blinked on a small screen, unnoticed, silent, dangerous. A new crew member, one no one remembered hiring, walked past the control room, his ID checked. Out his uniform was clean, but his eyes were wrong, too calm, too cold. Later that night, an explosion rocked the lower deck, emergency lights flashed, sirens screamed. Damage in Sector 4, fire in the engine room, the AI shouted. Elias ran down the hallway and found Karok already there. The alien had thrown his body over the burning cables, shielding a young technician. The fire was out, but Karok's arm was badly burned. You're insane, the medic muttered. No. Karok said, I gave my word. Elias stared at him. There was no doubt now. This warrior meant every word, but the true enemy was just getting started. The unknown crewman entered a restricted room and plugged a small device into the main power line. It uploaded a code, silent, invisible. A virus spread through the ship's systems. Not to destroy, but to listen. To gather. To strike when the time was right. Later in the command room, Elias stood before a video message from Earth Command. Bring the alien to Central Intelligence for testing. The voice ordered, you are not to trust it. Do not grow attached. He's a weapon, nothing more. Elias shut the message off. But his mind was heavy. In the cell, Karok sat again, silent. He watched the stars through the glass. Elias entered. No guards this time. Why did you really surrender? He asked. Karok didn't hesitate. Because my people will never stop fighting, not until they all die. I wanted my children to live in a world where killing is not the only way. So, you gave yourself to the enemy, I gave myself to the only people who had food, ships, power. Humans have a future, I want my children to live in that future. Elias was about to speak when the lights flickered. The ship shook slightly. Karok stood. That's not normal, he said. Elias touched his communicator. No signal, we're being jammed, he said. Suddenly, alarms screamed. Bio threat detected, level 5. Multiple crew infected. What the hell is happening? Elias shouted. Then came the whisper from the AI system. A silent code was uploaded. Foreign signal source, location, unknown crewman, not human, not alien, something else. Elias turned to Karok. We've been infiltrated. Karok looked straight ahead. They're here. The real enemy. Down in the dark storage bay, the unknown crewman stood still. His eyes glowed red. His face changed. No longer human, a machine, built to look like flesh. He whispered to himself, Phase 1 complete. Now, let them trust the traitor. He vanished into the shadows. A father's promise years ago, on Karok's homeworld, the sky was burning orange. Ash clouds drifted over the city, but inside a small underground home, peace still lived. Karok knelt beside 2 small alien children, his son and daughter. They giggled as he tried to braid their soft head tendrils, failing miserably. You're doing it wrong, father, the daughter said. Yes, the boy laughed. Mother was faster. Karok smiled, a rare thing for a soldier like him. When the war ends, he said softly, we'll fly together. I'll take you to see the twin moons. We'll build a garden there, promise? They both asked. I promise. Then the alarm sounded. Air raid. His smile faded. Present day, human battleship Odin's hammer. Karok jolted awake. He had dreamed again. Memories too painful to forget. He rubbed his scarred arm. The burns from saving the human technician were healing slowly. Outside his glass cell, tension buzzed like electricity. Soldiers moved quickly. Weapons were double-checked. The ship was no longer just curious about Karok. Now, they were afraid of something else. And he could feel it. Something unseen was crawling inside the ship. Captain Elias walked into the cell. He didn't speak right away, just stared at Karok. Our systems were hacked, Elias finally said. Someone or something is on this ship. A sleeper agent? Karok asked calmly. Yes, looks human, but not. AI says it's not from your kind. And definitely not ours. Then it's worse than both. Meanwhile, deep inside the ship's data, a tiny silver insect crawled along a cable. It was no ordinary insect, but a biomechanical spy. It crawled toward the oxygen systems, paused, and injected something. A faint pulse of dark gas started spreading, slow, silent, deadly. No alarms, no warnings, just a whisper of death. The crew is divided. Some humans believed Karak, others, especially Corporal Juno, believed the alien was the cause of everything wrong. This started when he got here. She hissed to Elias, first the explosion, then this virus, now system errors. He's lying, and yet he saved your life, Elias snapped. Or have you forgotten? She stormed out. But her suspicion was growing into something dangerous. Karak's test of loyalty to prove he could be trusted. Karak was taken and chained to the ship's AI core. Their system needed repair, and no human could reach the inner core. The path was narrow. The crew watched every move inside the AI chamber. Karak moved carefully. He spoke to the AI as he worked. You're listening, aren't you? He said. Affirmative, replied the cold voice. You know I'm not lying. Truth readings confirm. But motive remains uncertain. My motive is simple, Karak said. My children. They're all I have left. Suddenly, the AI went silent. The lights blinked red. Gas was now spreading into crew quarters. Karak turned to the main interface and saw a new message flashing. Host system compromised. Virus detected. Internal enemy present. Revelation. In the dark, Captain Elias received a private signal. The source, Karak's DNA. The message, an old, classified human file. Decades ago, during the early stages of the war, a rogue human faction had experimented with alien DNA. Some of those experiments were used to create hybrid assassins, something both humans and aliens swore never existed. Now, they had proof, and Karak's DNA had markers from that old program. Elias stormed into Karak's room. What are you? He demanded. Karak stood slowly, confused. What do you mean? Your DNA, your body. You were marked by us years ago, before the war truly began. Karak paused, eyes wide. Then he spoke with heavy breath. My father, he was taken, never came back. My mother said he was lost in war, but now I know what happened. You're a hybrid. Elias said, no, I'm not a machine. I'm a father. I'm not their weapon, but someone was watching in the security room. A shadowy figure replayed the conversation. The disguised crewman, the true infiltrator, smiled. His voice echoed in the dark. Let them fight each other. Let them break their fragile trust. He reached into his chest and pulled out a glowing sphere. It pulsed with dark energy. Soon, their ship will be mine. Race against time. Gas now reached the lower engine bay. 3 crew members collapsed. The AI confirmed oxygen system compromised. Critical life support failure in 45 minutes. Karak stepped forward. I can go in. I can reach the core. Human bodies will fail in that zone. Mine can survive. And what if you're working with the one who did this? Elias asked. Karak looked straight at him. I have nothing left to betray. But if I die helping you, at least tell my children I tried. Elias gave the nod. Descent into the Fuhrer. Karak entered the sealed section. Toxic air hissed in his lungs. His body burned, but he kept moving, crawling through narrow vents. He reached the core valve. He grabbed the toxic injector and crushed it with his hand. Then, suddenly the spy was there. The false crewman, his eyes glowed red. His voice was no longer calm. You should have died on that battlefield. And you, Karak growled, should never have touched my family. A brutal fight began in the dark, in the fire, among gas and metal. Karak fought like the warrior he once was, and then, silence. The lights returned. The gas stopped. The AI spoke. Threat neutralized. Karak stumbled back to the main deck, his arm bleeding, his body weak. Captain Elias caught him before he fell. You did it? Elias whispered. You saved the ship. Karak smiled faintly. One more step to finding them. As the medics carried him away, Elias looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, 2 alien children were waiting, and a war, bigger than any they'd seen, was about to begin. Betrayals in the dark. Asterisk. Human battleship Odin's Hammer, orbiting dead moon 17 for the first time since his capture. Karak walked through the ship without chains. Human soldiers watched him with careful eyes. Some nodded in silent respect, others still looked at him with fear. But no one called him prisoner anymore. He had saved the ship. He had nearly died doing it. Now, he walked beside Captain Elias, no longer an enemy, but not yet a friend. In the medical bay, Karak's wounds were healing. Alien skin knit differently than human skin. It closed with thick lines like ancient scars. His body looked stronger than before, but inside he was growing tired. He stared at a small hollow of the moon where his children might be hiding. Do you believe they're still alive? He asked. Captain Elias didn't answer right away. I don't know, he said. But I believe you'd die trying to find out. Karak nodded once. That's enough. Meanwhile, Earth Command transmission back in the captain's quarters. Elias listened to a message that had arrived an hour ago. It was from Admiral Ray Keston. Head of Earth Central. Her voice was sharp and cold. You've let the alien too close. Your emotional judgment is clouding your duty. We've received intelligence that Karok may be a genetic experiment, possibly engineered by our enemies. You are ordered to bring him to Earth immediately. Sedated if necessary, Elias clenched his jaw. Something about the message felt off. He replayed it twice. Her eyes didn't blink. Her tone never changed, not human enough. Later that night, secret meeting in the war room. Elias called his most trusted officers, Lieutenant Mayan, Engineer Holt, AI Operator Nara, all loyal. He showed them the Admiral's message. Does this sound like her to you? Elias asked. They exchanged looks. Too formal, Holt said. No eye movement pattern. Voice stress is wrong, added Nara. Captain, that might not be Admiral Ray. You think she's been replaced? Elias asked. Or hacked, Nara whispered. Either way, someone at command doesn't want Karok alive. In the dark corners of the ship, Corporal Juno paced alone, fists clenched. Her mind was at war. She had just received a message too. Not from Earth, but from a private, encrypted channel. A strange voice had spoken. The alien is dangerous. Do your duty, you'll be rewarded. Place this device in his quarters. No one will ever know. She was holding the device now, small, black, untraceable, a bomb. Her brother had died fighting Karok's people. Could she really forgive, or was she about to commit betrayal? She stood at the door of Karok's room. Her hand trembled. And then Karok opened the door. Their eyes met. She froze. He looked at her, not with anger, not fear, but calm sadness. You want to kill me? He asked softly. I don't know what I want anymore, she whispered. And she walked away. Operation Ghost Light Beacon. Celia's brought Karok into a private chamber, just the two of them. The captain spoke quietly. We found a signal. It's coming from the moon. Your children may be hiding on. Life signs. Real, weak, but alive. Karok straightened. Then we go. It's not that easy, Elias said. Central Command says no. They think it's a trap. They want you frozen. So we go without their permission, Karok replied. Elias nodded slowly. We launch a stealth mission. No orders, no backup, just us. Karok smiled, a quiet, cold warrior's smile. Finally, a real fight. Unknown to them, someone was listening in the AI control core. A small wire was connected to the system, secretly feeding all conversations to a hidden server outside the ship. A dark figure watched from a remote station far beyond the stars. His face was not visible, but his voice echoed. The human and the alien grow close. Good. When they land, we will strike. The plan was in motion. Journey to the moon. Stealth ship was small, barely room for four. Elias piloted. Karok sat beside him. Two trusted crew members joined them, Mayan and Holt. They launched at night. No lights, no sound. They flew in silence toward the dead moon, where ruins from the war still covered the surface. My children were hidden in Bunker 7. Karok said. We called it the Stone Egg. The ship landed quietly in a crater outside. Only darkness waited. Bunker 7. The Stone Egg team walked slowly across the dust. Ruins of old alien ships lay broken in the ground. Skeletons of machines, burned bones. Suddenly, movement. Wait, Karok whispered. I hear something. He touched the stone, a soft vibration, rhythmic. Heartbeats. He ran forward, clawed hands digging into the dust. A hidden hatch, a sealed door. Still warm, he pressed a code, one only his children would know. The door opened. Inside, two small alien figures blinked in the light, eyes wide, weak, but alive. Father? One whispered. Kara AK dropped to his knees, voice cracking. I promised. But joy turned to terror. The ground shook. An explosion lit up the sky. The ship, their only escape, was gone. Someone had followed them, and now they were trapped. Ghosts of the war. Dead moon 17G. Bunker 7. The ground trembled. Captain Elias looked up and saw the flames. His stealth ship, their only way off the moon, was nothing but fire and smoke now. The pieces were still falling from the sky. Karok's sharp alien eyes scanned the black sky. He saw no attacker, no ship, but someone had been watching, and someone had just made their move inside the bunker. Two small alien children clung to Karok's arms, his son, barely able to stand, his daughter coughing from the dust. Elias stared at them, amazed. They were real. Alive. And frightened. They've been down here too long, Karok said. Food's almost gone. Air is thinning. We need to move, Elias said. But now we have no ship. Karok nodded slowly, his eyes full of rage and fear. Then we find another way. Flashback. 9 years earlier, a secret meeting deep inside Earth's first interstellar war lab. A group of human scientists stood over a glowing alien child. We've cracked the code, one said. We don't need their soldiers. We can make better ones. The general nodded. But they'll never know we started this war. Present, back on the moon. Memory was not Karok's, but it played in his head like a whisper. He looked at his children. Something was wrong. His daughter's skin shimmered for a second. almost glowing, not sick, not weak. Different. Meanwhile, on board Odin's hammer, Corporal Juno stared at the empty docking bay. The stealth ship was gone. Captain Elias had left without orders. She turned toward the Admiral's second message. It played again: return Karok to Earth or destroy him. But this time, Juno noticed something strange: the reflection in the Admiral's eye. It wasn't a human command screen. It was alien. She blinked, then her comm crackled. Lieutenant Mayan's signal, distorted, screaming, "This is Team Ghostlight. Ambushed, not alone." The feed went dead. Back on the moon, the ambush began. Celias and Karok carried the children through an old tunnel leading away from the burning bunker. "There's a shipyard 3 clicks north," Elias said. "Pre-war tech. If anything still works, we might get a signal out." Suddenly, a deep metallic voice echoed through the caves. "You run well, hybrid, but you cannot hide." Karok stopped. He knew that voice. Not human. Not his kind. Something from the war. Something from before the war. Reveal. The revenants from the shadows. Armored figures emerged, black suits. No faces, no voices. Half machine, half organic. They were called revenants. Ancient weapons built during the first human-alien experiments, lost in history. Buried in silence, now they were back, and they wanted Karok's children. Gunfire exploded. Elias grabbed his rifle, Holt and Mayan opened fire. Karok grabbed a metal pole and fought like a beast. His movements were pure fury. "Go," he shouted to Elias. "Get them out." But then he heard it. A revenant spoke, directly into his mind. "They are not just your children, they are the key." Karok's horrifying discovery as Elias ran with the kids toward a collapsed transport station. Karok slammed one revenant to the ground and ripped open its armor. Inside wasn't a robot. It was an alien, just like him, but its mind was wiped. Its eyes replaced, its chest filled with tubes, a prisoner turned into a machine. They used us." Then Karok saw the mark inside the revenant's helmet, a symbol, a human one. Earth Command's Experimental Division. The hidden Lobelias found a broken lift tunnel under the shipyard. The children were weak, but safe. As Mayan held guard, Karok writhed, breathing hard, bleeding, furious. "They lied to both of us," he said. "Your people than mine. They created the revenants. They started the war." "Why?" Elias asked. Karok looked down at his son. The boy's hand had begun to glow, pulsing blue. "Because of them," Karok said. "They have something inside, power. Genes neither side could control. Your kids are the reason the war never ended." Race against time. The revenants were still searching. The old shipyard had emergency transmitters. Mayan and Holt powered one on, just long enough to send coordinates. A single message beamed into the stars: "Team Ghostlight alive under attack. Hybrid children confirmed, requesting backup or extraction." Then the transmitter exploded. The revenants were near, the final stand of Holt. They couldn't all run, so Holt stayed behind. He looked at Elias once, saluted, and said, "Tell Earth the truth." Then he planted charges around the hall. When the revenants entered, Holt smiled. Boom. Silence. Only echoes remained. Escape through the ice cavern. Celias, Karok, Mayan, and the children moved deeper underground, into ice-covered tunnels left from the moon's frozen core. It was there they found it, a ship. Old alien hidden. Karok recognized the markings. "This belonged to my ancestors. It was hidden before the First War." Inside was dust, silence, and a working engine. One chance. The revenants report back in deep space. A revenant transmitted a message to a shadowy figure on Earth. The figure stood in a large room filled with weapons, DNA samples, and maps of the stars. He wore no uniform, only a smile. "Phase 2 is ready." The revenant said. "Send the signal." The man replied, "Bring the children to me and burn the rest." Children of the moon, unknown star system. Stolen alien ship flew through empty space. Wounded but alive, its engine hummed with old energy, deep, almost ancient. Blue sparks flickered across its surface. Inside, it was dark, cold, and full of silence, but the silence was not peaceful. It was the kind of silence just before something breaks. Karok sat beside his children in the rear chamber. They slept curled up, too thin, too pale. His daughter's skin glowed faintly under the dim blue light. Not always, only when she dreamed. "They're changing," Karok whispered to himself. Captain Elias stood near the console, reading signals from nearby systems. His eyes were tired, his mind even more so. "Still nothing," he muttered. "No ships, no messages. Either command ignored our signal or someone erased it." Karok looked up slowly. "Someone wants them erased too." Flashback, the moon, days before the ship launched. As Karok carried his son on board, he saw it, a symbol carved into the wall of the revenant cave. A triangle with a line through the middle. He had seen it before. Once on the chest of a dead human scientist, years before the war even began. The war had been a lie manufactured, built for a reason. To create something like his children. Present, aboard the ship, Lieutenant Mayan entered the bridge. She held a small metal disc in her hand, found this in the lower hull. It was hidden behind the oxygen filter. Elias turned it over, a tracker. They're still following us, he said. He crushed it under his boot. Karak didn't flinch. He just whispered, they'll come. The question is, will we be ready? Meanwhile, Earth Central Command, classified Lab Theta 7 in a dark underground facility. Admiral Ray Keston sat across from a masked man. His name was never spoken aloud, but everyone feared him. Codename, Directive Nina watched a hologram of Karak's daughter glowing in the moon bunker. She's activating, he said. Ray looked uneasy. We were supposed to stop the growth. She's evolving too fast. Directive 9 turned toward her, then stop her or she'll rewrite everything you've built. Mid-flight, strange signals begin inside the alien ship. Lights flickered again. The engine made a loud pulse. The children woke suddenly, screaming. Their eyes were glowing, not blue, not red, white, blinding white. Karak held them close. Their bodies were cold, but not sick. Their skin changed texture like it was adapting. The daughter whispered something. Words in a language no one taught her. Even Karak didn't understand. Elias asked, what did she say? Karak stared at his daughter with wide eyes. She said, he is still alive. Who? The one who made me? Man's betrayal. Elias went to check the navigation. Karak stayed with his children. Man stood alone near the power core and opened a hidden panel. Inside was a device with red markings, a detonator. She hesitated, then touched her ear. This is Agent 212. I have the children. Activating fallback plan. She pressed the code. Nothing happened. Karak stepped into the hallway, holding the detonator. I removed it an hour ago, he said. I heard your call. Man froze. You don't understand, she said. They told me these children, they're not even alive like us. They're weapons, living viruses. Then why did my daughter cry? When her mother died, Karak asked, why did my son starve instead of killing for food? Mayan lowered her eyes. She said nothing. Karak didn't kill her. He just locked her inside the storage bay. You're lucky, he said. My children still believe in mercy. The arrival, Black Nebula 4. The ship entered the orbit of a dying station, Raven's Gate, built during the early years of space expansion, now abandoned. They docked quietly. No lights. No life. But the AI system still functioned. Elias searched records. Karak helped carry the children into a warm chamber. Then, the AI whispered, unauthorized biosignature detected, preparing shutdown. Suddenly, doors locked. Lights turned red. And across the station, revenants reactivated. They had been hiding here the whole time. The fight for survival. Elias and Karak ran through the dark halls. Gunfire echoed. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Mayan broke out of her lock and rejoined the fight. Her guilt burned stronger than her fear now. They're after the kids, she yelled. They want the blood, Elias shouted back. Then we bleed them dry first. Karak stayed behind. Covering the hallway, revenants dropped from vents like insects. He fought like a storm, no mercy. No rest, for everyone that fell, to replaced. It until his daughter stepped out, eyes glowing again. The children awakened. Raised her hand. And everything stopped. Revenants froze in midair. A sound like metal tearing echoed across the ship. They dropped to the floor, dead. All of them. The lights went white again. The AI system glitched. And in the middle of the room, she whispered, they are only shells. I see the route now. Karak approached her slowly. Who are you becoming? He asked. She looked up at him and smiled. What you wanted? Someone who survives. Final transmission sent from the station back on Earth. Directive 9 received a message from Raven's Gate. No video. Just one word. She's awake. His hands tightened. She's too early, he whispered. The system won't hold her much longer. He turned to Admiral Ray. Kill the father. Bring the girl. We don't need both. The map lights up in the station's last working chamber. Elias stared at the star map Karak's daughter had activated. It showed systems no human had ever seen. And at the center a symbol, a doorway. What is that? Elias asked. Kara AK didn't answer. He recognized it. From dreams, from old war stories. The source of the war, that, Karak said slowly, is where everything began. The last oath edge of the galaxy. Stars bent as the ship passed into forbidden space. Karak, Elias, Mayan, and the two children stared out the window as their stolen alien vessel approached a dead zone, a region with no signals, no satellites, no maps. Only one thing remained on the screen, a broken planet floating near a dying star. This place didn't exist in human records. It didn't exist in alien records either. And yet Karak's daughter pointed at it and whispered, that's where they made me. Flashback to 15 years ago, a secret base deep beneath Earth's southern pole. White walls, children inside tubes, their blood glowed softly in the dark. Combine the DNA. A human scientist said. Human resilience with alien adaptation. Give them memory, give them obedience. Another replied, what if they rebel? The first scientist smiled coldly. They'll never know what they are. Present, landing on the Source's ship touched down on the fractured planet. The sky was dark red, lightning rippled silently. Across the horizon, they stepped out, weapons ready. A black tower stood in the distance, not metal, not stone, something older. It pulsed when Karok's daughter came near. She held her brother's hand tightly. Her glow grew stronger. I remember this place, she said, but I've never been here. Inside the tower, the final Truthy entered a wide hall, walls covered in symbols. A machine sat in the center, still humming after centuries. Elias walked over and wiped off a thick layer of dust. A message appeared on the screen, written in both human and alien script. Project Seed, Humanitarian Genetic Uplift Protocol, status, failed. Karok's hand trembled. Seed, he muttered, they didn't just want peace, they wanted to replace us. Man stepped closer. They made her to survive. Both species, a new kind of being, a weapon. Elias said, no. Karok whispered, a hope. Then the darkness spoke. Lights dimmed from the shadows of the tower. A tall figure stepped forward, clad in black armor with no faceplate. Directive 9. Behind him, more revenants emerged, but these were different, bigger, fused with alien skulls and human bones. They radiated a strange power. I warned you, Directive 9 said. You should have stayed out of it. Elias raised his weapon. You started the war. You lied to Earth. You built a future of death. Directive 9 stepped closer. And what did you build? A bond with the enemy, a love story with a killer she was never meant to be. Karok stepped between 9 and his daughter. His voice was steady. She is not yours. The final battle began suddenly. The tower exploded into chaos. The revenants charged. Karok fought like the warrior he once was, using his bare hands to crush the machines. Elias fired shot after shot, taking cover behind ancient pillars. Mayan hacked an old defense drone and sent it flying into the air, unleashing a rain of fire. But it wasn't enough. There were too many. The last HFY Orcs. Daughter stood still, holding her brother's hand. Her glow turned white hot. She looked at her father, then at Elias. They'll never stop, she said. They want my blood, my mind. They think I'm the key. She stepped toward the core of the tower. The ancient machine that created her. Elias shouted, what are you doing? She turned, eyes full of light, ending it. The HFY Orc saw it in her eyes. What she had decided. He ran toward her, falling to his knees. No, he said, I just got you back. She touched his face. You gave me life, father. Now I give you peace. She turned and stepped into the core. The machine activated. A deep pulse shook the ground. Light shot through the tower. The revenants froze. Directive 9 screamed as his systems glitched. Then silence. The revenants collapsed. Directive 9 fell, smoke pouring from his suit. The sky turned blue. The aftermath. Karok collapsed beside the core, his son in his arms. Elias pulled him back as the tower began to fall apart. We have to go, Elias said. She bought us time. They ran to the ship and launched just as the planet cracked in half. From above, they watched the entire world vanish into starlight. No explosions. Just silence. 1 month later, Earth broadcast a message was sent across the galaxy. Captain Elias appeared on screen. The war is over, and we were the ones who started it, not the aliens. Not the monsters, us, all of us. We built fear, we built weapons. And we called them defense. But someone we called a child, gave her life to show us another way. We name her now, Arena. May she be remembered not as a weapon but as the first of something better. Karok on a new world, a quiet world. Green skies, 2 suns. Karok sat under a large tree. His son played nearby, laughing again. Elias walked over, holding 2 mugs of hot drink. He's healing fast, Elias said. Karok nodded. He has his mother's fire. Elias sat down beside him. What now? Karok looked to the stars. Now we keep our oaths. He held up a small piece of metal, a pendant shaped like Arena's glow mark. We protect those who cannot protect themselves. Human, alien, it doesn't matter anymore. Elias smiled faintly. Then let's start with US.